Hey Tariq. Wow, this came out really good. I really like how you're working with the sizes already to really add depth. So when I do these critiques, I try to show you guys, just some different techniques. So the first thing that I always do, just with a lot of different projects in Photoshop, is I like to put things in folders, and you can nest folders within each other. So if I click all these, and then I click this layer group thing. And then I'm going to name it Chris so I know what it is. So now what you can do is you can move this around, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually scale it. It's good this size when you're doing the masking stuff. And let's first kind of look at your masks. Yeah, they look pretty good actually. Yeah. They look really pretty good. I usually zoom in a lot more, but so what I'm going to do is just make it a little smaller with the free form tool. Excuse me. God, I've been talking a lot. My voice is going. Because we're going to be adding a background, and we're going to be adding some more text and so on. So a few suggestions right off the bat. You have a lot of kind of monochromatic colors. You might want to think of some way that you could maybe add a little bit more color. I mean, you can use replace color to a certain degree, but it doesn't really come out that great if you're really trying to do it in an extreme way. So you might want to think of just different ways that you can make some of these stand out. I mean, in the future, you probably could also go here. Where is that one? I mean, sometimes, oh, that's great. Oh, wow. You have it all labeled. I mean, you can go into the, to the layer styles, and add things like, an outer glow, just different things to create, just some variety. So even, let's say red, because everything is so cool. And again, then you play with the kind of different, I'm going to give it normal. I don't know why it defaults to that. And then I'm going to just kind of make it a little bigger. I don't know. This is just, I wouldn't go overboard, but sometimes there's just some ways that you add a little bit of emphasis to, and there's so many other things here, right, in this these layer styles. There's this drop shadow doesn't work really good for much, but there's, inner shadow, there's a stroke. You can use multiple ones on it, so I'm just going to say okay for that for now. So when I look at this, I do want to just bring a few things out. When you see, okay, we're seeing this side here, you might want to flip this so it's consistent with the way the tower is. So let's see, where is it again? So, I mean, one thing you can do is go to the Edit, Transform, and you can do a horizontal flip. And then again, see, then you've got the same, the same angle of view, but then again, you're going to have to kind of, move it. I mean, this is what this project really is about, using all these kind of cool Photoshop. I mean, maybe like that. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd make it a little bit smaller too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I would probably, where's the other one? Left shoulder. It's funny that you call it shoulder. That's really cool. So again, this is really a lot of what the project is once you get the basic masks in, just to continue working with this. And it would just be really nice to be able to see a little bit more distinction between, I'm going to really zoom in, in these areas, because they're all overlapping. So instead of it coming across as what it is, it looks like some shapes that look a little confusing to the eye. So you might want to clean it up somehow, or you might want to find, another kind of a speaker if you wanted to. I mean, you could look at those cool like Mega Boom speakers. Those, like, I don't know, those look really cool actually. And the reason I thought of these is because of the, the bright colors. And then again, you could, you'd have to find the right angle and so on. And I don't know, that's totally just an idea, but if you do searches for speakers, I mean, that's a really cool angle too. So, again, you'd really have to make it work. But you know, just an idea to think about some ways to add a little bit of variety. And I mean, this comes across pretty good, but again, it has a lot of angular, you know, sides to it that adds, you know, it kind of complicates it a bit. I'm wondering what it would look like if I turned it off. You know, even turning it off, you know, that could be an idea too. You could even put like a mega boom going this way, and then attach and make it bigger, and then attach the arms to it. Anyway, just a thought. Another area that I see kind of problematic is this area through here. So you might want to, I don't know if you're, you really need to have the the arms like that. But again, you can kind of work on, where is that one? Where's that one? And you know, you asked about the warp. I would do as little of that as possible, just because it's it tends to look gimmicky if you do too much of it. So I'm just going to play around with this and move this up. And I really, really love how you really thought this through with showing the bottom part of this mouse. Let's see, where's the other part of it then? Dun, 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 dun. Oops, wrong one. Right. Oh, there it is, right? Yeah. You know, just play with it. And again, this could even be smaller. And you've already, you know, you're starting to scale stuff, and you've got a really good sense of proportion. I think you probably know how to draw too. But again, so you could make it smaller, and you could even, you know, put it, you know, take the whole thing and kind of rotate it out a little bit. Okay, let's see here. So let's see. I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to see what it looks like if you kind of rotate it a little bit more. I'm just trying to avoid the, you know, some of these intersections here, because it starts to look a little bit complicated, and you know, there's just too much overlap, and it's like, I think you have such a cool piece, you just don't want it to get too cluttery looking. Anyway, that's just not, yeah, that's not bad. So that's kind of some of my main suggestions, is just to look for more color and a little bit more variety, and just be aware of just some of the problematic areas. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to get it too, you know, too complicated. For example, this, I mean, you know what it is because you created it, but to somebody who's not familiar with the project, which is going to be, you know, people that look at your portfolio, it's a little bit hard to see what this printer is. I'm even wondering what it would be like to just turn that thing off. Where is it? Huh. You could do something like that, or you could get some other cables and connect it. I love your lens. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think that it's so cool that you might, you know, and again, I know I showed you all this stuff again, but just really, you know, study some of the variety in some of these, you know, these projects that I've posted. You know, notice the cables, the color, you know, the variety, and you know, they're pretty seamlessly working together. But you know, but again, this is a final, so I'm sure in a couple of weeks yours is going to be very similar too. You know, and this one too, it's like a lot of variety with all these different colors and cables. You know, this twisted one. So, you know, that would just kind of be some of my suggestions, is just to really think of some ways that you could add a little bit of variety, so certain parts come out a little clearer. Again, it's hard to see what some of these things are too. It could be more effective to have just a colored cable attaching to the speaker, or even just like a cable, like a, you know, that has like a bigger end, like a, you know, like a printer cable or a monitor cable or something like that. Because again, you know what these are, but it's really hard to see what they are, like when you're just looking at it. You could, another approach too, instead of using this whole big piece for a fan, you could go and again search for computer fan, and get something that's a little bit simpler and a little bit it has some variety. You can really see the fan blades. There's so many of them. And again, if you go to the tools and you say size and you put it, larger than, 2 megapixels or whatever, you're going to get a lot of cool, and again, look at all the different angles here. So here too. So again, just some thoughts. Something that's really simple is cool too. You can't use that one though because it's Shutterstock and it'll have a watermark when you download it. This is pretty cool with the color. This one's really cool. So again, just some ideas. You could also just have this and remove some of this area here as well. And again, what I do when I'm working on something like this is I would keep this the way it is, and I would say save as, and I would put the date, and I would put like, March 7th, version 1. And then when you start to do more stuff to it, just keep saying save as and save as and save as versions, because then you're going to have all this intact. So you can really, and again, it's good to show for your portfolio to show progression from your thumbnails, which your thumbnails are awesome, to to the comps, and then to the final eventually as well. Okay, so anyway, I think it looks great, and I think you have a good sense of the, I would probably even, if I was going to keep this, where is it? Left. Oh, it's funny how you're naming all these. It's really awesome. Where's that foot? I would probably make this element bigger. Yeah, I might make this one a little bit bigger. I'm just going to see. Just because then it's going to really have some nice depth. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. And you could do levels on stuff later. I love the animated quality of it, so that's really a good thing. But just FYI in general, less can be more, and I would save as and really show, for your portfolio, show the progression and what you added in and took away, and you'll have a really awesome portfolio piece. But I think this looks really great. I know I gave you a lot of suggestions, and again, feel free to take them. My goal is to have you create kind of a stronger portfolio piece, and just a fun design. Okay.